Hello and welcome to ThePrint. Today I shall speak about what is uppermost in people's minds, and that is the terrorist attack in Pahalgam. The brazen attack on unsuspecting tourists at Pahalgam on 22nd April by the TRF, the Resistance Front, is no less barbarous than the 7 October attacks by Hamas on Israel. That both attacks have their roots in fundamentalist Muslim organizations should serve as a wake-up call to nations across the world who are still shy of condemning terrorists and terrorist organizations out of an ill-conceived notion of liberalism. The TRF is nothing but a different version of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, rebranded after the abrogation of Article 370 in an attempt to remove the Islamic fundamentalist footprint and mask it as a homegrown insurgency. The deliberate targeting of only the menfolk points to a higher direction by controllers abroad working to a strict plan and timeline. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has always been susceptible to terrorist attacks, aided and abetted by handlers in Pakistan. Major terrorist strikes have always coincided with other events on the national or international stage. This time was no different. Prime Minister Modi was in Saudi Arabia on a state visit, while US Vice President J.D. Vance was on his maiden visit to India. The growing Saudi Arabia-India relationship is eroding Pakistan's standing in the Muslim world, which is increasingly seeing Pakistan as a liability. This was also preceded by an extremely vitriolic speech by General Asim Munir, Pakistan's army chief, which should have only encouraged and emboldened the terrorists. It is painfully apparent that such dastardly attacks are meant to disturb the peaceful environment in Kashmir and destabilize Bharat by creating a sense of instability in the minds of foreign investors and showing the seeds of mistrust between different communities. While all the countries in the world have condemned the attack in the strongest possible terms, the notable abstention is Pakistan, whose silence is in itself a tacit admission of their guilt. What next? The location of the terrorist attack is also significant. It is not only a major tourist destination, but also on the route to Amarnath, with a pilgrimage to the Amarnath cave scheduled to commence in the first week of June. This will no doubt place an additional burden on the security forces in the days leading up to the yatra and its actual duration. Nevertheless, the yatra must go on. Our daily lives cannot and should not be allowed to be disrupted or held hostage to such wanton acts of violence. What will our response be? And there should be no doubt that there will be one. However, in the aftermath of the attack, Pakistan will be on guard, knowing that it is now in the crosshairs. Let them be on tenterhooks for a while, till they start jumping at shadows. Meanwhile, we must build up global support through political, diplomatic, and military channels of communication for our retaliatory measures for when, and not if, when it happens, which could be in multiple domains, both kinetic and non-kinetic. It is time for India to bear its fangs and not fall prey to calls for restraint or third-party assurances. India can always borrow from the US or Israeli playbook and draw support from international law which allows for such responses. As said by 18th century French author and army general Pierre Chordelos de Laclos. Revenge is a dish bitter served cold. This is General Naravane for ThePrint.